Can you get rich, really rich and wealthy from sports gambling? Probably not, especially not right away. Can you make some extra cash, some extra bucks to, to put into your bank account? Yes, but it takes time, patience, and a lot of discipline. So always remember that, guys.
Okay, what's up, guys? This is Ken with Picking Duck, and today we've got TJ Raff. He's on Instagram as at TJ Raff.
Yeah, it's actually TijuanaRafPicks.
That's right. I was going by his nickname. It's at TijuanaRafPicks. So that's his Instagram. So thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be discussing about his picks, what he does, and how he shares it with his followers. And I know he's a big soccer guy. So first off, thanks for joining me, Raf. Appreciate your time today.
You know what? Thank you for having me. I've been following you for a long time, and I know you've been around for a while too. So I'm honored to be here today.
Yeah, we kind of the old folks now, huh?
Oh yeah, we've seen it all from day one.
Yeah. So, speaking of day one, how did you start in sports betting?
Well, about 15 years ago, I mean, just like most guys, I like sports. I watch sports, and a buddy of mine told me he was making some good money making bets. So I started making a few bets here and there. I started low, $2, $3 on some long shot parlays here and there, and that's kind of how I got started. Just throwing $2 or $3 on 6 or 7 teams, kind of those lottery scratcher parlays that you just kind of throw a Hail Mary for and hope you hit.
Yeah. How old were you when you started doing those kind of bets?
Well, you know what? I'm 39 now, so I was in the mid 20s or so when I started making those bets and doing those for fun.
Okay. So, how did you make those picks back in the day? Were you just like going on websites? What were you doing to make those picks?
You know what? I think I was just going off of my own knowledge and just going off of stats, going off of teams and how they were doing, and just putting stuff together. And you know what? I did okay. I hit a couple here and there, but I lost most of them. But it was fun, and I didn't do it for too long. I was never the type of guy who wanted to throw out too much money early. So it was just a couple bucks here and there on parlays during the month.
Right. So now, how did you transition from that early sports better playing these like for fun parlays with small money into what you're doing now with, selling picks, giving out free plays? How did you make that transition?
Well, it's a good question. I actually stopped, doing those little parlays for a few years, for about a few years after that. And then I started just making bets on like big games like Super Bowls and things like that. And there was funny story actually is for like 6 years straight, I picked a Super Bowl team and the team that I picked lost. So we're talking about 6 Super Bowls, 7 Super Bowls where I told my buddies who I was going to bet for and who I was going to pick, and the team lost. So I was having buddies hitting me up to ask me for losers. So that's kind of a funny story on how I was actually called the Eddie Mush, of my inner circle.
He bet the fucking horse. He bet kryptonite. Give me the tickets. But Sonny, we're winning. We can't win. Mush bet kryptonite. Fucking jinx. Come on, you're the boss. We're 5 links in the lead. Come on, we've been mushed.
Hopefully that doesn't happen now, right?
Well, no, a couple years after that, a buddy of mine told me that there was guys on Instagram selling picks, and that kind of got me a little bit intrigued into the business. And I said, you know what? I'm a big guy on numbers. I love keeping stats. I love just doing everything that has to do with sports. So I decided to check it out, and I saw what he was saying. I saw Vegas Dave. I saw those big guys, and I saw the flashy cars and all that stuff. And I'm like, man, there's really a lot of people in here looking to sell and buy picks.
So how long ago was that? Did you start doing that on Instagram?
I'm actually going into this is my 6th year of Instagram, giving picks. I do free picks, and I also sell VIP packages. But 6 years ago, I started my own picking page, and I gave free picks. I just gave picks every day for free: basketball, baseball, hockey, you name it. And I literally started a page and gave free picks for 2 years before I started charging.
Oh, that's good. So, I mean, I know that you're big on soccer, so you gave out everything though, and like, how do you kind of you said you're a big data guy. So, what do you do with data, and how do you use that to help you make your decisions?
Well, yeah, I mean, I look at a lot of different things. I mean, I'm not going to give you all my little secrets, but I will go into just saying that I look at everything. I mean, I have literally for the past 6 years have saw basically every score outcome for the last 6 years for every sport. Like I've every day have been tracking the scores and outcomes of every sport for the last 5, 6 years, which uh, helps me see trends, helps me see different situations that happen on a daily basis. But I was breaking down stats. I was breaking down percentages of wins, losses, ties, all that stuff. And I basically have developed a system now where I put everything together that I've gained the knowledge on, and shoot out my VI picks that way. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, I see you posting a lot of percentages up on Instagram, some dropping knowledge on people, right?
Yeah, and that knowledge I give away for free on my website. I let them know, for example, the first weekend of the NFL playoffs, we're talking about Vegas and the bookies, I like to call it, went 10-2 versus the public. So that means that your average better went 2-10 versus the Vegas and the bookies this weekend by taking, favorites and things like that, which is a crazy number when you think about it. You're talking about 6 football games where Vegas and the house won, what was that, 10 out of 12 bets. We're talking spread and over unders this last weekend in the NFL.
That's really good information. So, speaking of that, do you follow other people's systems, or do you look at other models, or what other people are doing, or is this really based on what you find and the data that you find?
You know what? I've kind of over the years just broken it down kind of to the system that I like and what I use, because I've tried in the past. I have lots of clients who send me information from other cappers and other people, and they say, "Hey, what do you think about this play?" So I have a multitude of people sending me information from other people saying, "Hey, this is what they're sending out. Do you like it? Do you not like it?" And what I've found over the years is that when I say, "Oh, you know what, I kind of do like that play," and go with another guy's pick or something like that, it ends up backfiring. So I've cut it out now to where I just zero in on my plays. Now I will sometimes look at a guy, and if he has a pick and he's known to be a big mush, I will stay away from that pick. So there
I
is some guys
see.
out there that are known, real life Eddie Mushers, who send out plays and they some reason end up losing when it's the least likely scenario.
So it's like, if you were kind of leaning towards that play, you would stay away from it then.
Yeah, exactly. It's like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this guy and that guy are on that pick, and I just go, oh man, I gotta stay away from that pick now. I totally have to switch my game plan.
Yeah, it smells funny, huh?
Yeah, a lot of people say, hey, that's not true. Nobody's a mush, and that's not that doesn't happen. But I mean, if you believe in certain things, it can happen sometimes.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that you bet all your plays, and where do you place your bets? Local guy, offshore, or what do you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, most of them I use offshore books, kind of like Bovada is one of the big ones that gives you a lot of different options. And then there's one other website that I use that's also offshore, that where you can make, any type of bet, and you use PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, and things like that to deposit money and withdraw. So those are the two main websites I use for now.
Cool. So I'm assuming you just have two books, or do you have more than that?
Yeah, I usually like to only keep it at one big book like Bovada, and then one small book like the one that I'm using now. And I don't try to use too many different books. And I also, always remind my clients that, less books are better, because then you don't get into the possibility of losing a lot more money, because a lot of people are over betting or looking for books that give them credit, which could get them in a lot of trouble.
Speaking of discipline, I mean, that's kind of what you also teach, right? I always see you don't drink and bet, you know. Tell me about what you've learned about, discipline in sports betting.
Well, yeah, and that's one of the biggest thing. I used to be a big guy. I used to send when I first started, 5 to 10 picks a day, and you can't really win that way. You have to narrow it down to 2 to 3 picks. Maybe I've even been giving away 1 or 2 picks to my VIP clients this year as we started the new year. And for example, in college basketball, I'm 12-3 in college basketball since January 1st, and if you think about it, that's only 15 plays. So we're talking about an average of 1 play a day. And that's what I think most people need to realize, is that that's what you need to do. Hockey just started, and I see Capper sending 5 picks a day for hockey. How can you send 5 picks a day for a season that has just started? And a lot of
Right.
people buy into that, and they're over betting.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's your favorite sport to cap, or what is it that I guess you specialize? I mean, you're doing really well in college basketball. What about soccer? You doing really well there, or how's that?
Yeah, you know what? Soccer's always been my number one sport. I love soccer. I watch multitude of games. I'll sit and watch 3 games a day if I can of soccer. So I know that sport like the back of my hand. So I really do love capping. Soccer is one of my top sports. College basketball over the years has become one of my top sports too. There's just something about that sport. And if you look at my picks, I'll post them up later on my page. I was going to let people see I'm picking no-name teams. I'm picking 0-12 teams, 2-11 teams, like teams that have won less than 3 games to cover the spread. And out of my what is it, 12 wins this year, half of them have been under 500 teams, and half of them have won outright. So I'm talking about
Wow.
your typical capper will give you a favorite that's favored by 6 points or 5 points. I mean, when you see it all, man, you see everything out there. Guys are giving out picks of teams who are favored by everybody. The public's on them, and I like my little joke. My grandma's on them, and yeah, they're gonna hit every once in a while, but anybody could do that.
Yeah, those are actually kind of scary too, because like everyone's always expecting them to hit, and then it don't hit, and you're just like, what the fuck, you know?
Exactly. Like for example, yesterday, everybody was on Indiana and basketball to cover, to win and to cover, and they lost. Everybody was on Bryant yesterday, a small school in college basketball. A lot of people had it as their top play. They ended up losing outright. So those are the things that I've seen over the years, and what I've locked in on. Most of my clients have been with me. Actually, I have clients that have been with me for like 5 years, and
Wow.
they have been with me. They come back to me because my prices are low, and they know that I'm the real deal. They know that I'm studying my butt off to get them the best plays. And one other thing that I do that other cappers don't do is I'll let guys know, hey, you know what? I'm taking you out of the chat. I'm taking you out of Telegram. You're over betting. You're betting more than you should be betting. And I'll literally tell them, hey, I'm not even going to sell you picks. I'll block a guy that I think is betting way too much and killing his bankroll and just losing money he shouldn't be losing. So that's one of the things that I've seen over the years. It's the ugly part of sports gambling, is when you see people that are just uh, digging a hole in their betting. That's something that we need to bring up to light too.
Wow, that is awesome, man. Yeah, you're right, man. Nobody really cares about that side of sports betting, and that does need to be brought to light, especially with the legalization. So I commend you for doing that, even though they might be a good client. You'd rather have them not fucking lose their life over this,
Yeah, man.
right?
I'd rather than, hey, I'll tell guys, hey, you know what, man? Because I have guys tell me, hey, man, I lost like $2,000 last week, and I need you to give me a pick to get my money back. And I said, dude, that's not how it works. You don't lose 2,000 and then try to make it all back on one pick, because you see it every day. Every day these cappers out there. I mean, They say they have the lock of the year, lock of the century, and they have the lock of the year every day or every 2 days. How's that possible?
Yeah, no shit, dude. That's good, man. You're on the right side, dude. I appreciate that. Now let's talk about what your plans are for the future as sports betting becomes more known and more mainstream. You gonna continue to do your picks, and what's your plans for your brand, and what do you hope to do in the future?
I mean, yeah, I definitely. I mean, let me tell you, having a little son now who's 17 months, this is definitely a lot of work and it takes hours. I mean, real cappers who work like I do don't sleep much and they're digging in all the research and things like that. So it's definitely a lot of work. I'd like to get to a point to where I'm doing something with, by myself or maybe with some other people, a group of people to build a bigger brand and things like that to where it's not as saturated with all the work that I'm doing. I mean, this is a stressful job. It's a side hustle for me, but it's a stressful job when you're thinking about providing winners for people on a daily basis. It's not easy, and not everybody can do it. And even though there's probably about 100 or 150 cappers, new cappers every day that start a picking page. That's one of the things that I've noticed. And I was one of them before, but only 1% survive. So I'm hoping to eventually grow my platform into something much bigger and maybe do something a little bit different, maybe some YouTube channels with a daily podcast or things like that.
Yeah, that's interesting fact about the number of people starting to trying to sell picks, and that yes, you were one of them. And people not staying in the game, man, the fact that you can stay in the game is a testament, because just like you said, this game is hard. And if you can't produce the right picks, or you can't play and you lose, like the guys that have lost $2,000 and they need a savior right away, that's what makes people quit this game, right? And so you've been doing this for a while now, and you're very seasoned, so I could really see that. So good job for you, man.
Yeah, and you can tell when guys have been doing it for a while and when they are pretty legit. The thing is that it's a dirty business though. There's always the guys that come out and they constantly lie about their stats. And there's always new people that are going into sports betting that are looking at it as a possibly as an investment, because this is actually could be an investment. That's why I call it, instead of betting, you're investing in sports. I mean, there's a couple guys that have just taken my college basketball plays, have not bet anything else, and have put $1,000 on each play. And if you're talking about 12 wins and 3 losses, they're up quite a bit
Yep.
from betting 1,000 a pick. $1,000 each day they're betting on college basketball picks. I mean, other guys are betting 25, 30. Everybody has a different bankroll, but that's
Right.
what I'm talking about. If I produce a 12 and 3 uh, kickoff to January, you can count your marbles that guy is going to join again.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if they playing a G a game, So I agree, man. It's all about that investing. That's how you got to look at sports betting. So, again, guys, this is Tijuana Raf Picks on Instagram. He dropped a lot of information. This is what he does. He's been doing it for so many years. And if you want to go check him out, go to his Instagram page at Tijuana Raf Picks. And he'll share with you everything that you need to know. He gives you some of that discipline stuff. And you heard it, guys. He will not let you overbet. He doesn't want you to be losing your life over this. So he's got your back, guys. So Raf, I appreciate you coming on. We're going to share this everywhere. And any final words to people out there that you want to share with them?
Yeah, guys, and also I do have a free Telegram where I give free picks out, guys, to everybody. I'll give you guys a link to that, and that's 8-2 the last 10 picks, guys. Just remember, never bet money that you can't afford to lose when it comes to sports betting. Set aside an amount of cash that you would normally spend on lottery tickets or fun events or things like that, and just know that, hey, that 200, that $500, I could lose it all, or I could invest it into doubling it or tripling it. Just remember that, never bet money you can't afford to lose. That's my number one reminder to everybody going into sports gambling. Can you get rich, really rich and wealthy from sports gambling? Probably not, especially not right away. Can you make some extra cash, some extra bucks to, you know, to put into your bank account? Yes, but it takes time, patience, and a lot of discipline. So always remember that, guys. Thank you for having me.
Boom, dude. Those were some truth bombs right there. So, man, appreciate your time, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Ken with Picking Duck and TJ Raff.
Buy the gear, man, 'cause the girls love it.
Yeah.